So earlier on in this episode, I mentioned that I was going to be talking about the news surrounding Kamen Rider Zero One and Kira Mager or Major. I definitely need to check that show out. I mentioned earlier that I haven't just yet because I'm still trying to get through Ryu Soldier, which I did enjoy. Both shows have been put on hiatus. This was reported on earlier this month, so you may have noticed a little bit of less superhero time in your life. But what is interesting is that Toei is trying to put certain stuff in the slots right now that both shows were initially airing in. So if you haven't seen the episode 0 film, it actually was released earlier this year in theaters alongside Ryu Soldier versus Lupin Ranger versus Patringer. It actually will be coming out, or it may have actually already been broadcast. And on May 24th, which actually by the time this comes out on our YouTube channel, this might be a day after that, they'll actually be airing the first two episodes of Kira Mager, but with new cuts and maybe some other cool other things as well. So I don't know if they're going to be considered director's cuts or something like that, but still very interesting, trying to keep people invested in Japan. And also it's just some nice stuff if you do want to check it out, if if that does get brought over here in some fashion. Now what's interesting is that when it comes to Kamen Rider Zero One, there's a President Special, part .01 and part .02. It looks back on the battles from the beginning of Kamen Rider Zero One, and does this from the perspective of Aruto and also Izu. And I haven't kept up with Zero One either, so I feel like I should know who Izu is. And if I don't, I'm going to feel really bad about it. Am I supposed to know who Izu is? Let's see. I feel like I want. She's yes, of course. She's when you don't see her with the apparatus on, you're like, who? And so yeah, I'm like, whomst. But either way, though, yes, that is Izu. And then, of course, that part 1 and 2 will be airing, but and that was, by the way, on the 17th and on the 24th. Again, by the time this video comes out, that probably will already have been aired in Japan. But what is interesting, on May 31st, a retrospective titled Shooting Special, and it'll be told from the perspective of Isamu Fuwa, Kamen Rider Vulcan. Now, what I find very interesting about all of this, obviously, my heart goes out not just to the people right now who are working at Toei who don't have jobs, but of course I reported last time on Kirama Red and his condition. My heart goes out to him and his family as well. And really, again, just everyone right now working in any industry where there are cutbacks, layoffs, and, obviously you either can't go to work or you're considered an essential worker, and that is a whole other slew of issues. I have friends right now who are considered essential workers, and I really do worry about them. So again, my heart goes out to everyone here, both who is and who is not working. But what I find interesting, just purely from the perspective of a fan, is where they're going to go after this and what's going to happen both to these shows, both to some of these arcs, where they are, and if they're going to end up having potentially either they're going to sit there and go, oh, well, Sentai is now, starting up at a different part of the year. It's ending at a different part of the year now. Or if they're going to try to maybe condense something, wrap it up. And this is the first time in a while that we'll end up having something like a 30 or 40 episode, either Super Sentai or a 30 to 40 episode Kamen Rider in a while. So I am curious, seeing where they go there. I'm wondering if perhaps, I mentioned this earlier talking about the new Power Rangers. I'm wondering if they're going to end up having maybe like a triple or quadruple superhero time. Might seem odd, but if they want, they need to make up that toy revenue and that, in general TV revenue and whatnot. So they may be thinking, well, very corporate strategy, at least in my opinion, is that I've seen is, oh, we need to make more money. Well, what do? Make more of the thing. But what if that means that it's people start to get nauseous of it? Look, we need to make the money. Make more of the thing. And then people get nauseous of it, and then it doesn't really do well, or it just peters out, or it just evens out to what, either sales of something were before, or viewers, or whatever it is. This isn't like a Toei thing. I'm talking about this as a general corporate strategy that I think just kind of goes wrong, thinking that, people might like a thing, they might think it's organic, they might enjoy it, but they don't want to eat it every single night, or every single time. So I don't know if Toei strategy is going to lean towards that direction, or if they're just going to hunker down, and then once things start to return back to some semblance of normalcy, they're going to just air the rest of it with the scripts that they've written and call it a day. I don't know. Because, well, yes, Sentai and Kamen Rider before have had their scripts tweaked and changed over time, and certain story directions and plot lines, I don't say necessarily dropped, but kind of morphed and transformed into something else completely. So I'm wondering if they're going to go in that direction, or if they're going to go, you know what? We have our scripts, so be it. And then maybe once the show is, once everything has gone back to some type of normal, then the show is aired, then they finish, then maybe they have like a special or something, very much like that mini 5-part series, the Strongest Battle series for Sentai. Maybe they have something like that to try to kind of just kill some time, to kind of shift where they want both Kamen Rider and Super Sentai to air during the year. I was thinking Power Rangers because I don't really think. Yes, I'm sure Nickelodeon has a strategy every year. They want their show to air at a certain time, make a certain amount of money, yada yada. Even though I would like them to air, instead of airing 8 at a time or 16 at a time, 20 at a time for a season, I'd rather a whole season be 40 episodes. But that's a different story altogether. But I do wonder if we're going to have a situation where Toei just keeps on trucking. So I really do find it interesting. I mean, they might end up doing something extremely interesting and doing like half animated, half live action or something. I don't know. What I do imagine, I can imagine, I don't know, of course, 100%, but I imagine that when it comes to Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, I know for a fact that they do film things X amount of weeks in advance. Obviously, everything going on in the world has gone on for a few months now, so I assume they've run out of that footage. But I do wonder how much random stock fight footage do they have around? Not stock like the mechs transforming. I mean, like, did they just film a bunch of random monster footage and then had to get people footage, the actual actors and in helmets and whatnot, walking around talking and doing stuff? Because I do wonder if for some reason we end up getting a weird, interesting, like, anime live action hybrid. I'm not saying I want it, and I'm not saying it'd be good. I'm just saying that I wonder what Toei is going to do to try to make money during a time where they just can't be filming in public. And I don't know how it's gonna. I mean, all I know is from a US perspective, it's gonna take a while to have something like that happen. I don't know how it works from how it's going to work from a Japanese perspective, because of the fact that it seems like they're getting over that hurdle, and then they open up just a wee bit, and then more infections, it keeps coming back around, and then they have to shut down again. So I really don't know what's going to be going on there, and I do find it, again, just from a fan perspective, where I find it interesting where all of these shows are going to go from here. So if you have any predictions, any thoughts, anything like that, please comment down below and tell me what you think.